This morning, my husband and I went to breakfast at Pura Vida, which is like our Saturday morning routine. We walk Chaco somewhere where it's easy for him to be off lead because he's old and he's a really great walker. He just follows me everywhere. And then we go to breakfast and we just love Pura Vida. It's very expensive. It's in Miami. Now it's all over the country, but it's not in the other places where we frequent. And I almost never get coffee when I'm out. The house that we're at now is my parents, and they have this beautiful coffee maker, but I like making sure that I have this right amount of coffee. Like, I only have a coffee and then a shot of espresso in it every morning. Caffeine is good for you, but too much of it can mess with your hormones, and because I have severe digestive issues, like, I try to make everything I do very structured and the same thing every day if I can help it. Today I didn't. My husband was like, get a coffee out, like, you love hotel coffee, he's a kind of a coffee snob, not in a bad way, he likes really good coffee. And we went to Maman and they gave me coffee. It was a huge coffee, first of all, which made me nervous because I was like, I'm gonna have too much caffeine, but also it was in a reusable cup, right? Because we were walking Chaco and I was like, I can't enjoy this. I just know that I'm drinking microplastics, but also the coffee tasted like burnt hot water. So I was like, this tastes really bad. And it was literally like, I was like, I'm drinking plastics. I don't want this. And that's a very bougie, bitchy thing to say, but once again, I was like, I just don't want it. And I felt bad, and he was like, whatever, throw it out, like, get a nice coffee when we go to breakfast. And we're not like those people. Like, we don't just throw shit out. I hate wasting food. I hate it. I don't like spending money on things that I then don't use. So this was really not like this is not how we are. But he was like, just get a nice coffee when we go to breakfast. And I was like, yeah, okay. It took me a while to throw it out. I finally did. And then we go to Pura Vida, and he always gets like little coffees, like macchiatos or espressos. And we sat down. And basically they brought over his coffee in a little espresso cup, and they brought over my Americano in a reusable cup. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, can I just get it in a mug? There's mugs everywhere, right? Normal size mugs. And the woman, I guess the waitress, was like, okay, and she left. And I thought it was kind of funny because Matthews came in a normal cup or espresso mug, and I had been very clear that it was to stay because our food was also to stay, and they had already brought our food on plates. And then the manager came over and was like, we can't serve you an Americano in a mug. It has to be in a to-go cup. And I was just like, what? This restaurant, if you don't know it, is all about like health is wealth and happiness, and they have all these allergen lists, and they're super careful. Like, if you tell them you're gluten intolerant or like it's a severe allergy, like, they're really good about cross-contamination. They have sesame, they have all their allergens listed extremely carefully, but this whole brand is built on health and wellness. And they've actually gotten in a bit of hot water in New York because like one of their sandwiches has like an insane amount of fat in it, and in New York you have to publish calorie content, versus down in Florida where like you don't have to show that information if you don't want. So I was like kind of speechless, and I'm like not good in crises in the moment, and my husband was just like, can you, like, he was talking to I was just like, what? And basically what they agreed upon was they're going to make me they can give me a mug, but they cannot serve the Americano in a mug. They have to serve it in a reusable cup. And I'm not like so bougie that I don't drink things out of reusable cups. I just, like I said, I have severe digestive issues. My stomach was already in knots because usually, frankly, I have my morning coffee and then I have a bowel movement, and then we go for the walk, and I hadn't had one yet, and I was just like, okay, whatever. And it was so weird because this company, Pura Vida, is expanding. They're extremely expensive, and they literally will not serve people Americanos in mugs, presumably because my husband seemed to think because they don't have enough mugs, or maybe they're doing too much, they have to wash too many cups. But like, there was a woman next to me drinking a matcha, and she had a mug, and it was like it was the funniest experience ever. But it was also a reminder to me that like I love my husband, but that was a situation where I then came off as like a huge bitch. It was a lot of unnecessary stress, right? And then also just like, I just wanted a coffee at that point before we had our breakfast, because I wanted to poop and not be constipated all day, because that's how severe my digestive issues are. And yes, I'm working with a doctor to manage this, and no, I'm not looking for recommendations from the peanut gallery about how to manage myself. I've just paid a lot of money to have someone help me, so like another person help me. But that's my story on this Saturday morning. And I actually feel like this is probably like, I love Pura Vida, but this really made me be like, why am I giving a place like this money? Like, what else do I not know about them that doesn't really align with their brand?